Look at the appliances in your home right now. How many of them do you think will still be working in 10 years? Probably none. But 40 years ago, there was a brand that promised the opposite. That brand was National. Their products weren't just good, they were immortal. But in the brutal world of capitalism, being too good is a fatal mistake. Today we're diving into the tragic fall of a giant that died because it refused to break. In the 1970s and 80s, National dominated the global market with a simple philosophy: build it to last. They made fans, rice cookers, and appliances that were essentially tanks in disguise. We're talking about motors that could spin for half a century without a single hiccup. At first, this was a gold mine. People trusted them, people loved them. But then, the success trap kicked in. You see, in a healthy business, you need a replacement cycle. You need your customers to come back every few years to buy a new model. But National's customers didn't need to come back. Why buy a new fan when the one you bought in 1985 still works like a charm? Catch your breath. This is where the nightmare began. While competitors were shifting to cheaper materials and planned obsolescence, intentionally designing products to fail, National stayed stubborn. They kept using high-grade components. Their production costs stayed high, but their sales started to plateau. Why? Because their market was saturated with products that simply wouldn't die. National was essentially competing against its own past. The more durable their old products were, the harder it was to sell anything new. By the early 2000s, the brand was in a corner. To the new generation, National didn't look premium anymore. It looked old. It was the brand of their grandparents. People wanted sleek designs, not a heavy metal box that lasts forever. The very quality that built their empire had become the chains that held them back. In 2004, the parent company made a cold, hard decision. They killed the National brand. They rebranded everything to Panasonic, signaling the end of an era where things were built to last a lifetime. It's a bitter lesson for every entrepreneur. National didn't fail because they were bad at what they did. They failed because they were too honest for a world that runs on consumption. In the next episode, we'll look at the dark secret of modern manufacturing, how companies today secretly set an expiration date on your gadgets to make sure you keep spending. You won't want to miss it. In the real world of business, competition isn't always about who makes the best product. It's about who understands the buyer's wallet. While National was busy perfecting motors that could last for decades, the market was shifting under their feet. New competitors emerged with a different strategy. They didn't aim for eternity. They aimed for affordability. They realized that most customers in the 90s and 2000s weren't looking for an heirloom. They were looking for a deal. By switching to lighter materials and more efficient but less durable production methods, these companies could sell appliances at half the price of a National. And that was the killing blow. For the average consumer, the choice was simple. Buy one expensive National fan that lasts 30 years, or buy a stylish, modern-looking fan today for much less. And if it breaks in 7 years, just buy a newer, better model then. This shift in consumer psychology left National in a devastating position. Their high-quality components meant their prices stayed high. They couldn't compete on the shelves where price tags were the first thing people saw. People started to value new over durable. They wanted gadgets that looked good in their modern homes, not the heavy, industrial-looking machines of the past. National's obsession with quality became a luxury that the mass market was no longer willing to pay for. The boardrooms at National faced a brutal reality. To survive, they had to cut costs, but cutting costs meant compromising the very identity of the brand. They watched as their market share was eaten away by brands that understood one simple truth: most people are okay with good enough if the price is right. The era of the lifetime purchase was ending, replaced by a world of fast fashion and frequent upgrades. National was a king with a gold crown in a world that had moved on to plastic. By the time 2003 rolled around, the writing was on the wall. The name National was like a legendary warrior from a bygone era, still strong and still standing, but the world didn't speak his language anymore. The board members at the headquarters knew that to survive the 21st century, they had to do the unthinkable. They had to bury the legend to save the company. It was an emotional turning point. Imagine thousands of workers who spent decades making sure every screw was perfect suddenly being told that the name on the building was going to change. In 2004, the announcement went global. National is now Panasonic. It wasn't just a rebranding, it was a surrender of the lifetime quality philosophy. Panasonic was born to be sleek, fast, and competitive. It was built to fight in the world of high-tech gadgets where things are replaced every few years. But here's the fun part. Even though the brand died, their products refused to give up. To this day, in garages, old kitchens, and dusty workshops around the world, you can still find those green National fans spinning as fast as they did in 1980. They are the unkillable ghosts of a time when engineers were kings. Every time you see one, it's like a secret wink from the past, reminding us that once upon a time humans built things to last forever. We live in a world of glass screens that crack if you drop them and batteries that die in 2 years. The story of National tells us that while forever is a bad business model, it's a hell of a legacy. They lost the market war, but they won the battle for our respect. So next time your modern gadget dies right after the warranty expires, just look at that old National fan in the corner, still humming away, and realize that sometimes being too good is the only way to be remembered. Don't let the spirit of quality die with National. In a world that wants you to keep buying, maybe the most rebellious thing you can do is to take care of what you already have. Thanks for traveling through this history with us. This might be the end of National's story, but the next legend is already being built somewhere. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.